Talking about weather service tornadoes, how they issue them, and all that, timely with what just happened yesterday.
Yeah, we did have that one tornado warning that the National Weather Service drew and issued in northwest Burleigh County near Wilton and Regan, and we'll see if that actually produced a tornado after we go through some of those damage assessments. But North Dakota sees about 30 tornadoes per year, with the peaks being in June and July. And when Weather Service meteorologists are examining radar data to issue a tornado warning, velocity data is one of the really important products that allows us to see inside of storms, sees where that rotation could be to identify where that potential tornado might be.
For a tornado warning, we're going to want to be going kind of back and forth between the reflectivity and the velocity. In this case, we had some data issues with the velocity. You can kind of see here the jagged edge between the red and the green, so I'm more going to stick to reflectivity. And let's say that we're concerned about this hook area right here for a tornado. So I'll drag that there. I'll make sure that I have tornado selected. And we usually only issue tornado warnings for about 30 minutes or so. So I've dragged my point there. I'm going to go back in time for a few minutes so I can get a good track on this feature. So again, it looks like it's kind of moving maybe to the southeast a little bit. So I get my storm motion. Then I hit the track button again, so that gives me my first guess polygon. If we think our possible tornado might be right there, I'm going to kind of make it small in the beginning, but I'm going to fan it out so that we can get a much larger area. So on the bottom here, I'm kind of trying to line up this side of our polygon with the way the storm's tracking. And the reason why I would want to make it this big on this side is that sometimes what we see with tornadoes is that they kind of occlude back left into the storm. So it's accounting for uncertainty in the storm motion. I don't know. I think we're getting close kind of into Mandan here, so I don't know this far away if we would necessarily put them in the warning yet, depending on our confidence level and on the environment. If our environment's favorable for long track tornadoes, then we probably would. So maybe I'll add another point here so that we can maybe kind of make the box look a little bit more like that. So we still account for that uncertainty coming down here to our south and east, but not quite have it go quite as far into where this radar is. So that's right here at the Bismarck Airport. So if you can imagine, Mandan would be kind of right around there. So again, kind of keeping geography in mind, but we don't want to spend like minutes, agonizing over that decision. We just have to kind of make a quick first decision and just go with it. Science has come a very long ways, but we still can't predict with 100% accuracy there's going to be a tornado here. It's going to move like this in a half hour. So it's really a balance of, making sure that we, give people that are in the threat area enough of a lead time and account for uncertainty in storm motion and storm evolution, but at the same time not overwarning people. It's a number of factors that we consider, but the most important thing is that we get this out in time to give the people that are in immediate danger as much of a heads up as we can.
So as Michael's going through that simulation or training module, you can see that they have a lot of decisions they have to make really quickly. They want to get that polygon drawn in ideally less than a minute. But once they have the polygon drawn, Michael has to choose a couple more options before the warning is sent out.
So we can start with this base tornado warning. This is usually what we'll start at if it's just if we're seeing signs in the radar data and we have a favorable environment for tornadoes, but we don't yet have confirmation of one. A considerable tornado tag, that would usually be used if you have confirmation that there's a tornado on the ground. The tornado emergency, I don't believe that our office has ever issued one. That would only be that'd be a very rare case where if we had confirmation that there was a large and destructive tornado on the ground heading towards a population center.
So those different tags are important to select, but a tornado warning polygon can also be updated on the fly as that storm is moving towards and into that warning area.
We started with Doppler radar indicator. Let's say in 10 minutes we get a confirmed report of a tornado. We would update this warning. We can take out where the threat has already passed. So if it's here in 10 minutes, we'll take out this back portion of the warning. They're not under a threat anymore. We'll change it to say that now a tornado has been confirmed. What we can't do, unfortunately, is we can't expand the current warning, if you will. We would have to issue a new warning. So if this was going to continue to track towards, I think the Missouri River's right here, if it was going to get into Burleigh County, we'd have to issue a new warning for that. The way it's set up right now. So we can reduce the area, but we can't expand it. We also can't extend the time of the warning as well. That also requires the issuance of a new warning.
So before the warning is sent out to the public, they get this big long text statement that's spit out. That's also distributed to the public and is shown on your apps and on TV. And it indicates the hazard, the source, the impacts. And these impacts are depending on how strong the tornado is, where it's going to be heading. But there's certain safety precautions that you need to be aware of if a tornado warning is issued for your location. You need to have multiple ways to receive warnings, especially for tornadoes. We're going to be talking about them on TV and on our First Warm Weather app. If one is issued for our area, you can get our weather call service. You can find out more about that on our website. Your phone should have a built-in WEA service, wireless emergency alert, kind of like with Amber Alerts. You should get a tornado warning alert on your phone if you're within that polygon. Having a NOAA weather radio is also really valuable in case your power goes out, because this thing will always be on. And if you're outdoors and in a larger population center nearby a tornado siren, that can also be useful to be notified if a tornado is coming your way. But if you are under a tornado warning, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. You would ideally want to get down to your basement or an interior room, because tornadoes can cause a lot of damage, especially if you're in a mobile home. Manufactured homes are not a safe place to be during a tornado warning, so make plans ahead of time to try to go somewhere else to a more sturdy structure. If you're on the road too, it's a misconception that going under underpasses is a good idea. That is not a good idea. You would want to get off at the closest exit, go to a business or a building that's a much sturdier structure if you're stuck on the road in a tornado warning. Now, the Weather Service has a certain statistics that they use to improve their tornado warning process. The false alarm ratio for the Weather Service office in Bismarck that covers western and central North Dakota is 63%. That means that a warning is issued for an expected hazard, such as a tornado, but that hazard never materializes. The other statistic is the probability of detection. That's 56% for the NWS in Bismarck. That means a higher number, a higher percentage, means that they're correctly detecting and issuing warnings for tornadoes before they touch down. And these numbers are actually a lot better than some other Weather Service offices across the country, and it's a learning process that these meteorologists need to use in order to get better at issuing these tornado warnings.
And those values are actually on par or slightly improved above regional and national standards. There has been a lot of research that's been devoted to tornado genesis and how we can better anticipate the threat of tornadoes. There's a lot of research that's been put into that over the recent years, and we're continuing to learn new things all the time about how we can better anticipate so we can improve those statistics.
There's a lot of split-second decisions that they need to make when they're drawing those polygons, but if you're in the polygon, in that tornado warning, seek shelter immediately and take it seriously.
Respect the polygon, right?
no
Talked
kidding.
about that. So we had a lot of polygons yesterday, keeping you informed of the severe weather. Weather Service has to talk to them because they're the official agency that issues all of this, and we just pass it on, right? We're meteorologists that interpret the data, but a lot goes on behind the scenes. That's the bottom line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, thanks
a lot.
you guys.